We're back. Season 2 of the Forza Naples podcast is here. Season 2 of FC Naples football, or soccer, if you will, also here. We're 2 weeks away from opening day. My name's Ian. I'm joined as always by Paul. Paul, you ready for season 2?
Ready for season 2. It's been a long off season. Ready to get back into matches every Saturday, Sunday. Very excited to see what season 2 has. I know how much fun we had last year, and hopefully we're going to have the same sort of vibes rolling into year 2.
Yeah, looking forward to it. If you're new here, just to introduce ourselves, we're both FC Naples season ticket holders. We kind of realized there wasn't anyone podcasting about FC Naples, so we hopped in to fill that void. We are both very amateur podcasters, by no means professionals at this. We both have day jobs that we will probably stick to, but we are glad that you're here and joining us on this journey. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can follow us on Instagram at Forza Naples Pod. You can email us, forzanaples239@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Blue Sky, Paul's favorite, at Forza Naples on Blue Sky.
Yeah, we're in year 2. Still don't know what Blue Sky is, and happy to keep my day job. But if there's somebody out there that wants to sponsor the show and allow me to quit my day job and talk FC Naples all day, happy to do so.
Yes, we are both more than happy to become full-time podcasters if anyone is interested in that. Paul, long off season here. Our Premier League team has been struggling, so it's not been a lot of fun to watch. What are you looking forward to most here in 2 weeks come March 7th, opening day?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if we can carry over the momentum, right? So we kind of saw it last year with our Premier League team, Forest, making a great run, surprise run. And year 2, not as great, but, excited to see what the management has with bringing in new guys this offseason. We lost some key players. So what type of momentum the team can build, but most importantly, looking to see what the fan base is going to look like, in 2 weeks, because I feel like the club's done a great job promoting, being a pillar in the community. I know that was a staple for them, so I want to give them a shout out for kind of living up to the promise of being a pillar in the community. So hopefully the fan base has only grown. I think this is a huge year for soccer around the country. And the fact that we have a professional league team that one day could be in the top flight in the top league in America is really exciting, that you can still get in, on the ground floor and support a team that, 5 years from now, we don't know if this is one of the bigger clubs in the country.
Yeah, pretty cool. It seems like every 4 years soccer gets a big bump with those World Cups. And this year, with the World Cup being in the U.S., Canada and Mexico, is going to be huge for, maybe just the casual sports fan. Maybe this kind of is their intro to soccer, the World Cup, and then they can hop on board the bandwagon and start supporting their local team instead of, teams in Miami, Orlando, or across the country. Not to mention how expensive all of those games are to go see an Inter Miami game being played in an airport parking lot, or drive all the way up to Orlando City, where you've got this in your backyard. It's a family atmosphere. It's a reasonably priced. It's what you want, right? So yeah, excited to see how the fans are going to grow. And I think you kind of mentioned it, some big changes on the team front as well. Let's run through our list of returning players here. We've got Lalo Delgado, club captain and goalkeeper. He's back for year 2. I think that was a big announcement when we saw him coming back. We were both pretty excited about that one. Also returning, we've got Julian Cisneros, the fullback, along with Kevin O'Connor, Max Glasser, Ian Serro, Andres Farine, Mark Torres, and Dominic Bastine. Which one of the returning players are you most excited about for next season?
Yeah, I got to go with Backenstein, and if you followed the show, I've been a big fan of him since he arrived, and I think that was the club making a move for a guy who might not have been ready for the league, knowing Henderlong was going to go to move up a level. I believe he signed with the Rowdies. I think that's where
He
Henderlong ended
did.
up. Right. So, moving up in the current USL non-relegation status, um, I think they were prepping for his departure. I think everybody saw the writing on the wall. Golden Boot candidate last year. So he's got big shoes to fill, probably literally and figuratively. And excited to see how he's grown this offseason. And he's a big physical striker that I think will be a lot of fun to watch this season.
Yeah, yeah. I like glad he's coming back. I think one of the biggest things with the returners or the players that aren't returning that we don't see are, you mentioned Carson Henderlund going to Tampa, first transfer in club history, sending him up to Tampa. And then Jaden Onan's also not returning on the list of returning players. Those were our top two goal scorers last year. Carson Henderlund with 14 league goals, Onan with 6. So it's going to be, and we'll kind of walk through our new signings here in a minute, but it's going to, the question's going to be asked, where are these goals going to come from? And like you said, Henderlong, a Golden Boot candidate within the league. We're going to need to find someone to score goals, and I'm hoping that's Bachstein, or one of the new signings as well. I think two of the signings that I'm most looking forward to are probably Cisneros and Glasser, because we were so strong at the back last year, and watching those two left and right backs get forward too and make plays happen, go on runs, playing balls down the wings. I really enjoyed watching both of them play, along with Kevin O'Connor. I know I asked for one. I'm going to give you 3. But those are my 3 that I'm really
And,
looking forward to
and you didn't
seeing
even
next year.
mention, neither one of us mentioned Delgado and how key bringing back, the captain and somebody that was so reliable um, in net. I think he was the obvious answer. I think
Yes.
being the captain, being a very key, borderline irreplaceable. I think that was the obvious answer. So I think I just wanted to highlight him since you got multiple. I'm going to use my second one to highlight him coming back. But all the guys coming back were critical last year, and that's kind of what we found towards the end of the season is you really do need 15 to 18 guys that can play because between cup games and the Jägermeister Cup, the US Open Cup, hopefully we can make some runs and I assume we're in the US Open Cup again this year.
We
Um,
are.
Hopefully we can make a deep run in both of those competitions, which means more games, and more games leads to more fatigue, injuries. So, you're going to need a pool of 15 to 18 guys if you want to make runs in those and try to compete to win the league.
Yep. We are in the Open Cup again. We play Red Force from Miami in the first game of the Open Cup, which I'm trying to find on my schedule now. That one's going to be a Wednesday night though, which is always, those midweek games are always fun. But yeah, it's like you said, we are going to need some depth, and I think at the end of the day, the league is kind of determined by, you've got your starting 11, and I think consistently across the league, that starting 11s are all pretty similar. But it's got 12, 13, 14, 15 even, like who can come off the bench and make a difference and match the level of play of the other team's 11, or even be better once they kind of get that fatigue. And I think that is something that we really succeeded with last year. We were really good with, was our player 12, 13, 14 coming off the bench. We're always really solid, where I don't think a lot of teams in the league could say that. So hoping that we have built that depth back up and we can kind of continue to, it's okay to make changes, even from one Saturday to the other, because it's a long season, like we talked about last year, from March to October. Going to be a lot of games, a lot of travel. We're going to need those guys to all be ready and capable of stepping in to fill in those shoes.
Yeah, how big do you think Poland coming back, staying at the helm, for this discussion of continuity? How do you think that plays?
Yeah, year 2 for him. It was important to remember last year, kind of coming in, he had never really held that in this level. He had been the manager of Chicago House, which was in Nisa, had taken down the Chicago Fire, I think, with them in the Open Cup. He's clearly a pretty proven manager, but also really young in comparison to the other managers in the league. So him coming back for year two, I think he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, and I think he's ready to continue to prove himself and prove what he can do with the squad. And it seems like, well, as we kind of walk through these new signings, a lot of new faces, a lot of new names coming in, and a lot of experience elsewhere in the league or even in like MLS Next Pro, and even some guys with USL Championship experience. So interested to see what he can do with all these guys. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I can't stress that enough, and I think year two is going to be even better than year one.
Yeah, and going back to year one, I mean, what a run. You know, we made a decent run in the US Open Cup, losing to the Rowdies in that thriller 10 rounds of penalties. And, you know, we made a deep playoff run that you know, I'm still a little bitter about the lack of handball that wasn't called in the semifinals there. So, you know, everybody hopefully is going to be coming back hungry for redemption. You know, I think everybody got into this mindset that we're good enough to win the league. And we were right there. We were right on the doorstep. I fully, you know, fully convinced that we win that game, we win the league. Um, but what are your thoughts of building off of the? I don't want to call it surprise success because there was no baseline, no metric, but I would imagine everybody at the club was thrilled by the performance of the team and kind of the ups and downs, overcoming all that last year.
Yeah, I mean, we had said it here, start of the season, what was our goal? And we were like, if we could make a playoff game, that would be awesome. We end up, it came down, the regular season came down to the wire. We end up hosting a playoff game last week of the season. We win, we get some help. We end up being the 4 seed, hosting the playoff game. And then we win that one in penalties against Union Omaha, the defending league champions, which was an awesome game, crazy atmosphere, just you couldn't ask for more. Then we go to Knoxville and we're a goal away. We lose 1-0, close. Like you said, Paul, questionable handball. I think I had kind of forgotten about it until now, to be honest. I think I had blocked it out of my memory. But fall
Clear as
1-0.
day, clear as day handball, clear as day. As the people who listen will learn, also developmental league for officials, so we will try to be nice to them.
Yeah,
But
we
clear as
have the
day.
yeah. No VAR in USL League One yet either, sadly. But
I
Toulouse,
feel like that scene in Miracle where O'Callahan's like the guy throws a cheap shot, takes the ring right off my finger. That's how I feel about how that game played out.
but yeah, we did. So for those that weren't here last year, we lost to the eventual league champion, won Knoxville 1-0. The game was played in Knoxville, cold night. Just unfortunate. Couple bounces didn't go our way either. We had a couple headers that just went wide. One header that just went over the bar. You know, we played really well. Unfortunate to lose it, and then Knoxville went on to win the whole thing and beat Spokane 2-0 in the final. So it was one of those where I think if we get through Knoxville, we probably go on to win the whole thing. Just unfortunate, and I know the FC Naples has been posting a couple of these new like meet the players on their social medias, and all of the players have mentioned like, what's your goal for the season, and it's to win a championship. So to your point of, I hope these guys are hungry. I think they are, and I think they're ready to and believing like these guys can go win a championship. Which
Yeah, I think year one, you know, you learn the roller coaster, the circus that is League One. You know, we started out hot. We were really excited, chanting top of the league for the first couple weeks, and then the dog days of summer come. You lose a couple heartbreakers, you know, a couple bad performances. Then you right the ship just long enough to hit troubled waters again. And then, you know, we started humming right as the playoffs was about to start. I think that's a cool thing about the league is it's not like the Premier League or every other top league in the world other than American soccer leagues where there is a regular season champion and then you do get the playoffs. So there is something to be said about peaking. Um, I think it was our first round matchup. You know, they had won 5 in a row. They were red hot, and we were worried about that because their record wasn't great, but they were playing really good, and we were fortunate to get by them. So I think knowing how to navigate the season, I think less so for the players, but I think for Coach Poland will be big that he'll know how to rest the guys, when to make, different lineups with guys that don't get to play as much, and navigate how long this season is. I mean, it's March till October, so lot of time, lot of games.
Yeah, first game kicks off March 7th. Last game is October 24th. And then when you throw in the Open Cup, you've got the tournament formerly known as the Jägermeister Cup. I forgot who sponsors it now, but sadly I don't think we get to break out the Jägermeister again this season. But these in-season tournaments, if you will, which I think are important to us because the further you advance, the more prize money you win, the more kind of renowned your club gets, and the more you're talked about. But yeah, long season, and you're going to need, like we've been talking about, that bench strength and being able to make changes and still have that coherent 11, and guys that are all on the same page and guys that can compete with the other teams and the other team's best 11. Super important.
So I did notice you said the last game of the season was October 24th, but we all know we really want that mid-November to be our final game.
Yeah, sorry. Last game of the regular season, like you mentioned, not like the Premier League. There are playoffs here. We're not going to start talking playoff. I mean, maybe we should start talking playoffs now. I guess before we get into all the new signings, what would be your expectation of this team? What would you call a successful season this year?
Yeah, I think I echo the players, right? And I don't think we want any players on our team that aren't thinking that they can compete for a championship. Um, and there's times where the fan bias will come out in time for objectiveness, right? I think we all agree last year was a huge success. We didn't hoist any trophies, but I think getting out of the group stage in the formerly known as Jägermeister Cup would be a big one. Making it to at least the championship, if not MLS level. I know the MLS isn't competing as much in the Open Cup this year. Winning 1, 2, 3 games in the U.S. Open Cup, but and I think putting ourselves in a position to be in a semifinal, in the playoffs. I think that's kind of been the bar that's been set, and if we can string together all of those things, even just hosting another home playoff game, I'll set the bar there. Hosting a home playoff game, I think you check the box of successful season.
Yeah, agree with you there. I think even if we got to host a semifinal, and we have to remember too, leagues expanded a little bit. We've gone from 14 teams last season to 18 teams this season. So a bunch of new teams coming in. It's going to be harder, right? And top 8 make the playoffs. So you've got 10 teams this year that aren't going to make it. So you got to finish in that top 10 and got to finish top 4 if you want to host. So it's going to have to pick up points and pick up points early and often. Going to be key.
And the walk in the park game isn't, Union. I'm sorry, not Union Omaha. Texoma no longer in the league, so we lost 6 points right there.
Yeah.
Prink's Tires. That's the sponsor. The Jägermeister Cup is now Prink's Tires.
It'll always be the Jägermeister Cup to me after one season of getting to celebrate it as the Jägermeister Cup.
Yeah, you mentioned new signings. I believe you have some insider knowledge on some of these new signings. Are there any that we should be excited to see lace them up March 7th?
Yeah, so Gio Migletti is going to be, he seems like he's going to be the new striker, and we kind of wondered where the goals were going to come from. It seems to be he's probably going to be one of the keys. Him along with Taylor, so he comes from Huntsville City and Tacoma Defiance, who both play in MLS Next Pro, so a very similar style league. So going to be interested to see how he makes that transition from, that's the Seattle Sounders and I believe Nashville SC's like B teams, if you will. How he makes that transition over to the USL League One. and will he get the goals that we're going to need him to replace Henderlong. The other player, Taylor Gray, comes from South Georgia Tormenta and Chattanooga FC. So he spent a year at Chattanooga FC, so he's going to, I think, fit right in because he already hates the Chattanooga Red Wolves, much like us. But coming from Tormenta, he had a pretty strong season there, so excited to see what he brings to the table. And then Aiden Messias is a midfielder with Forward Madison. He also had USL Championship experience with Hartford Athletic in the season prior to that. He had a good season. Ford Madison themselves, I think, just missed the playoffs on the last day, maybe last season.
They were the
But
first domino to fall last
first
season, I
one out,
believe.
right? They were the 9 seed, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's been really good, and I know a couple of the guys that I know who are Ford Madison supporters were really sad to lose him, and said he's going to fit right into our squad. So he's a midfielder. Excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. The other two guys that we haven't really talked about with the Jake Dangler and Breck Evans both leaving in the winter. I guess I was going to say summer because I'm so used to the European calendar. But losing our two center backs is going to be tough because they were both just so strong and so sound back there. But two new center backs coming in, and I think we should be excited about these guys. Max Broughton, center back, he played for Pittsburgh last year in the USL Championship, so he's bringing a wealth of knowledge there. Also English guy, so excited about that. And then Luca Masterantonio, I can't pronounce his name. He's Italian. He played for AV Alta last year. Spent some time in Omaha and Tucson before that. So another guy with league experience. Great season last year with AV Alta. I believe we played him a couple times last season. So he should be bringing another just more wealth knowledge, and he did not play for AV Alta when we beat them 4-0 at home. I did just double check that. So excited to have both of them on board.
Get the balls to the Italian. That's something I learned when I was young. So a guy that hopefully will be able to control the ball. Yeah, I think the back line is going to be a huge, right? The two biggest things, right? The three pieces in soccer. You got your strikers, your midfield, your back line. And two of those three, we have big question marks on. And the back line was really the staple of our team last year, not allowing a whole lot of goals when we were playing well. When we were successful, which again sounds really simple, because the goal of soccer is to score more goals than the other team. But that inconsistency in the back line can really derail a season because they're fundamental to the game as a whole. So they do have big shoes to fill as well, and it will be exciting to see how Coach Poland can get merge those two to the two we have coming back. And luckily he has experience because he had to do it last year with four guys who'd never played together. So be curious to see how they perform.
Yeah, he's really stressed. A good offense starts from your defense, and building up from the back. And we saw that last year, right? We were one of the best teams defensively in the league, and with those guys. So I think he's rebuilding. And I do know at the jersey, we had the jersey reveal back in December, hanging out there, and everyone seemed really excited about these two center backs coming in. They couldn't say their names because I don't think it was official yet. But it sounded, they were like, oh, I think we're going to get these two new center backs in. It's going to be, they're going to be really good. So everyone seems really excited about it. So, really looking forward to them. And I know this Saturday as well they're doing a little fan fest for season ticket members, with an open training session. So excited to kind of get a first look at the squad. We'll see how much we get to see out there on Saturday morning, but looking forward to seeing what everyone kind of brings to the table and how we're going to line up this year.
Yeah, one big question going into the season. I think the biggest question that I have around the club is, will I get more beer tokens as a season ticket member in the beer garden?
I'm really hoping that we both do. I know I kept one and I'm using it as a ball marker in golf because it's just a little poker chip. So yeah, hoping that we get more beer tokens and excited to get some more FC Naples
And
Blonde going.
you're really hoping because you'll get probably most of mine, since I no longer live anywhere near. I didn't live close last year. And I certainly don't live close now. So, um, but yeah, definitely gotta mark a couple games on the calendar. Maybe an AV Alta away game. But that brings me to what new club entices you most? I know you went to an away day last year. If you had to pick one of the new teams coming in, where are you going?
Yeah, so for the uninformed, I guess, who don't follow USL League One expansion as closely as we do, we have few new teams this year. I believe five new teams coming into the league. We lost Texoma from last season, and then this year we have AC Boise coming in, um, as well as Corpus Christi, the New York Cosmos, Sarasota Paradise, and then Fort Wayne, who we actually opened this season up with Fort Wayne and Corpus Christi. So two brand new teams. We are going to be playing the first few games. Where am I most excited for an away day? Probably Sarasota, just because it's so close. It's going to be fun to have a local derby there. Just, hour and a half, 2 hours if you try to drive at this time of year, anytime in the afternoon. Uh, so close. I think that'll be a fun away day. Um, but I've never really been to Corpus Christi, but I know it sounds like it's a cool little beach town. And I think they have a rainforest cafe right on the beach there. So I think that's why I'm going to go with Corpus Christi as my preferred away day.
I've
What
been
a
to Corpus Christi. Not sure I got to visit the Rainforest Cafe there. Um, and the Sarasota game, that'll be a rematch from round two, I believe, of the U.S. Open Cup. That was a challenging win against the lesser side for us. Um, yeah, I think the one that clearly jumps off the map of places I do not plan on attending would be Boise. I don't think that that's very easy to get to and not much to do. Um, I'd be curious to see. I think Fort Wayne could be the winner. Seems like, as the English folks coming over for the World Cup might find out, it's pretty close to Dallas, but not quite Dallas. Um, I think that's one that I could get into, and obviously a New York game. Do you know where the Cosmos are playing this year? Do they have a
um
stadium named?
if I had to guess, they're probably because they're the New York Cosmos. They're probably going to end up playing in New Jersey, and also I think you confused Fort Wayne, which is
Oh
in
no!
Indiana, with Fort
Oh,
Worth,
Fort
which is right
Worth.
outside of Dallas.
Scratch that. It's the Cosmos. I am. This is amateur hour at its finest. I am gonna cross September 19th when we play Fort Wayne off of my list.
You'll
I'm
be
going
waiting
back.
for the team in Dallas.
I'll be waiting for their connection flight there. Um, yeah, it's a fitting start to the season since I thought Portland Hearts of Pine was in Oregon last year. So, it's good. Every year we can have a new team, and I'll confuse where their home stadium is. Um, so I think I would still pick Portland Hearts of Pine, though. It seems like that environment's awesome, unfortunately, across the country. So that will not be in the cards this season.
Yeah, I know you instantly crossed off Boise, but we do play at Boise in May. It would be cool to make a Boise trip in during college football season just to see Boise State play on the blue turf.
Correct. That would be a cool combo. I could be convinced, if Boise State football was in town.
Um, yeah, I think Cosmos would also be a fun away day. You mentioned it there. I don't remember if they're playing on Long Island or in New Jersey, but they're probably playing somewhere. I think before they might have played at Hofstra University. So we'll see if the New York Cosmos actually end up playing in New York.
So they
Um,
play at Hinch Life Stadium. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, which is in Patterson, New Jersey. So a classic staple, a New York sports team not playing in New York. So, um, Not sure what school. I'm trying to look, but looks like it's another stadium that is a baseball field, though, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it seems like USL League One really loves their baseball stadium, minor league baseball stadium slash soccer stadium, with the baseball diamond kind of in the background.
Yeah, it looks like it's a high school baseball stadium, and I think that's a testament to our club. Has one of the best facilities. I would probably venture to say in the entire USL, but certainly in USL League One. Um, Phenomenal place. You got the beer garden. You got a whole half of stands. You got the supporters group in the middle. Um, so yeah, I think for those that are listening, I can't imagine there's too many people that are listening that haven't been to a game. But if you are one of those people, you got to check out, how world class of a facility we have, and how fortunate we are that we have access to that.
Very, very true. Very true. Yeah, lucky to have that facility. It's awesome, and I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but the new kits. Thoughts on the new home jersey for this upcoming season?
I think that it's going to be exciting to try to convince my fiance to let me buy a new FC Naples kit. I think I like it better than last year's. Although last year's was awesome, I like that they're continuing to evolve, and I'm excited to see them in action.
Yeah, I liked last year's. I thought it was different with the blue and the navy blue and the gold, but there's something about the navy blue and the light blue, and the tribute to the pier is just awesome with the pier pilings in there. That A logo just all over it. I think it looks so good. It looks so good up close. It looks so good from a distance. Really excited to see it on the pitch there. Week 1, March 7th against Fort Wayne, not Fort Worth FC.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to live that one down all season. I am going to be curious to see if it is, you know, it does. I don't know. I think it could be difficult to decipher when we're playing other teams just because of the color. But as in appearance solely, I do think it's awesome. And I'm not really sure what the obsession with the Naples Pier is, but definitely a cool tribute.
Yeah, the pier. I know this year was an anniversary for the pier. It's been battered around with all the hurricanes and everything, but I know they broke ground recently on the pier restoration project and rebuilding the pier after the hurricane that was unfortunately named after me.
Classic, classic, classic. Um, I think we can touch on league dynamics next episode, but is there anything else? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people wondering what the USL Championship is and that sort of thing. But I think that's a great opener for next week. Is there anything else we needed to recap? Anything we were missing out on? I know airports is usually a hot topic when discussing the team.
No, we'll have to come back. We'll break down the USL and the structure because I'm sure people are also wondering what the heck the Jägermeister Cup was and what the new Pricks Tires Cup is. Um, but yeah, looking forward to the season. So we'll do a couple match day previews too, but want to give you the first 3 games out. So March 7th, home to Fort Wayne, and then turn around the next week as well, March 14th, home to Corpus Christi. So like I mentioned, there's 2 new teams there, and then we go from the 2 brand new teams to one of the longest serving teams in the league with the Richmond Kickers on March 21st. So grab your parkas if you're going up to Richmond for that one. Going to be cold at the end of March. And then back home for for 2 games for Ford Madison and Greenville Triumph, and then Sarasota Paradise, all back to back to back. First Derby game there pretty early on in the season in April 11th. But yeah, looking forward to this season. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we go, Paul?
No, excited to be back. Excited to sync up again next week and cover more USL soccer. I'm a bigger and bigger fan of this crazy league, and hopefully the folks in Naples are excited for the season to restart because it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, just to so anyone uninformed, the way this league was introduced to me when I was kind of asking around was, "Oh, you're gonna love it. It's just vibes and chaos." And I think that was very true for the first season, and I'm looking forward to more of it the second season. It's a great league, great team, like you mentioned, so popular out in the community. So excited just to see what year two has to offer. So with that, be sure to follow us on social media. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review, unsubscribe, resubscribe, help boost our numbers up. Share this podcast with your FC Naples loving friends. And until I guess week one of the season, or I guess next week, we'll be back with some more breakdowns of what to look forward to for the season. So until then, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you soon.